Watch and burn.
Hey everybody. So tonight, I am finally getting around to doing Lack of Interests, Trapped Inside. This was one of the first Slap-A-Ham records that I ended up getting my hands on way back because a buddy of mine at the time, he had sort of taken the power violence trip with me. I found Spaz through the Short Music for Short People compilation from Fat Wreck, and then that just kind of snowballed. Through Spaz, we of course, I think it was the liner notes for Short Music for Short People, it had all of the contact information for all of the bands that it took part. And if I'm not mistaken, now if I am mistaken, and I apologize, but this is going back like a quarter of a century, but I'm pretty sure that there was Dodge's contact information for Spaz by way of Slap-A-Ham Records. So I blink, and me and my buddy are totally into Slap-A-Ham. They've got Short, Fast, and Loud, they've got posters, they've got everybody from Spaz to Dodge and his wife's side project like Ancient Chinese Secret, and then they have the Autophobia, and then they had Lack of Interest, and they had Be-Numb, and they had like all these, through their distro, they were releasing all of these bands that we would later come to love, like Be-Numb, and Murder Suicide Pact, like New York Hardcore. And so yeah, so my buddy was like, when he read the write-up for Trapped Inside through Slap-A-Ham's catalog, it sounded like the craziest record ever, of course, which isn't really that unique for Slap-A-Ham Records. Everything Slap-A-Ham Records did was fucking crazy. And this record is certainly no exception. I mean, there's like 27 or 28 songs in like 14 minutes. And I love everything about this record. I wasn't sure how I felt about it at first because the vocals sort of had a septic death sort of aspect to them. And I felt that, well, of course I was a lot younger, I felt that like Lack of Interest was maybe borrowing too heavy from Septic Death, but then in the years since I realized how brain dead that opinion was. Lack of Interest don't really sound anything like Septic Death. At times the vocals share similarities, but I mean, we're talking single percentile here. I mean, this record, it's just boom, and it's gone. I mean, on here you have, holy fuck, man. Suicidal is on here, One Trust is on here, Impeached, Alone Once Again, Lost It, My Life. My Life, by the way, is sort of like their pop song. It's like the radio hit from this record. It is really, but then again, no, that's not true, because Suicidal was really catchy too. But I did always kind of see the song My Life as being the best way to introduce yourself to Lack of Interest. Like I said, it kind of feels like their radio hit. And through that, me and my buddy, we must have listened to this thing like 10,000 times. And that is actually something that can happen very quickly with all of these more like power violence, grindcore, thrashcore shit. These records are so short and so concise and so to the point that in a day you could listen to it 25 times. That 25 times as opposed to say 10 times for a more average length records that's clocking in at 40 to 70 minutes. This is like 14 minutes long. So it's fun, it's punchy, and despite its aggression, because the vocals are just done with the right amount of sort of, they have socially speaking, I find the vocals to be very inviting. They're kind of fun, they're a little more bouncy. They don't take themselves quite as seriously. The vocals are a little more, using the word here, I think inclusive would fit the bill. Because the vocals are less serious and less scratchy and screechy than, or screamy than other power violence records. I always found this to be their most, or Slap-A-Ham Records, one of Slap-A-Ham Records' most accessible power violence releases. So yeah, I'm gonna leave it there. So thank you so much for hanging out with me for 4.5 minutes or so while I discussed this really random record from way back when by Lack of Interest called Trapped Inside. Like always, if you like this review, don't forget to do something nice for somebody. But most importantly, please don't forget that the world is actually a better place because you are in it. I'm gonna go. Have a good night.